Hey there, it's Diane the Nursing Geek, and today I'm going to do the Authortube Newbie Tag, which, I probably should have done as my first Authortube video, but why? That would be boring, just doing things in order. Why do that? So somebody mentioned to me, actually from the Camp NaNoWriMo cabin that I am in, that this tag exists, and I decided, hey, why don't I do that? So I googled, found the questions, and here they are. There are 13 of them. Nice lucky number. Question number 1. How did you find out about Authortube? NaNoWriMo. I was doing National Novel Writing Month, where you write 50,000 words in 30 days last November, and I'm not sure how I stumbled across the first video from an Authortuber and discovered that Authortube existed, but I did, and ended up following quite a few authors who were talking about their experiences in NaNoWriMo, and I found that extremely helpful as I was doing it myself. Question number 2, what genres do you write in? Well, as I mentioned in my Camp NaNoWriMo video, I write fiction for fun, so I write transformative or fan fiction, which usually in some sort of sci-fi, fantasy, urban fantasy, semi-horror sometimes. So that would be my general genres. Preferred writing tense and point of view and category of story. Well, I think that's already kind of hit category of story. But preferred writing tense and point of view, in general, I prefer third person past tense. That feels the most natural to me for storytelling, with one exception. And it's an exception I mostly only see done within fandom, and that is second person present tense. I've seen that occasionally in sort of experimental literary fiction, and I've not been all that crazy about it. Within fan fiction, it's literally inserting the reader as a character within the action of the story in a way that I find that works really well. So I have experimented with that a little bit. I still write almost everything in third person past, but for something that's intended to incorporate the reader as a character, I'll do that. Question number 4, plotter, pantser, or plantser? I guess at this point I'm a plantser. Mostly I've always been a pantser, just have a basic idea what I'm going to write and just run with it. Last NaNoWriMo I actually did do a full outline, read and listened to a bazillion books on structure, trying to make sure that I had all the pieces that I needed, because the idea that I had for this thing that needed to be 50,000 words was really minimal, and I had no idea how I was going to get it up to 50,000 words in 30 days or at all. So I decided I needed an outline for it, and that worked really well. So I think for larger projects like that, I'll probably continue to use an outline. I still have continued using Scrivener, but I'm not so much outlining with it as just I do like that I can put the scenes each in their own thing and mix them around very easily. Number 5 is a difficult question to answer. Excuse me. Because I'm not sure whether I should call myself self-published or yet to be published, or not planning to be published. If you count uploading to fanfiction archives, then I guess I'm self-published. But otherwise, just not published for fiction. What publishing company, literary agent, and/or printing company are you represented by? None of the above. That was number 6. Dream publishing house and/or literary agent. Don't have one. I think if I were to come up with an idea that I actually fleshed out to an original book, I'd probably be inclined to self-publish, because I am now spoiled rotten with being able to have total creative control and being able to say, nah, if somebody tells me I need to edit something and I strongly disagree, which you don't always have that option when you're working with a formal publishing house. So I think if I were to actually publish any of my fiction, I would probably self-publish. Number 7, what Authortube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? That's a very good question. Mostly I started incorporating Authortube things because I just wanted to join in the conversation about writing. But I'm not sure. Because of the type of writing that I do, I can tell you a lot about writing for school, for academics. I can tell you what I teach my students about writing in that area, but I'm teaching how to write, papers, essays, not stories. But I do pay a lot of attention to the craft of writing, so there probably will be videos on that, on topics about the craft of writing, and probably fun tags, because again, it's about doing it for fun. Number 8, when did I start writing? I very specifically remember being 12 years old, sitting in the mall, bought myself a little notebook, a little 9x6 notebook with my allowance, and just started writing. I don't remember what it was, but I knew I wanted a particular story told, and I just started writing it. And although I had no idea that there was such a word as fan fiction back then, I would say the majority of what I wrote was still in that category. However, what I thought I was doing was guest writing for my favorite TV shows, because I had noticed that there were different writers, so therefore it seemed completely logical to my 12-year-old mind that I should be able to just write an episode and send it in and it would get made. Doesn't work that way. I'm glad I never got so far as to actually submit anything. That would have been embarrassing. But yeah, so when I was 12, I'm not going to say how long ago that was. A very long time ago. But I'm not going to say how long. Number 9, what's the first story I ever wrote? I don't know. I was 12. Yeah, no idea. It's been a long, long time. What authors have inspired my writing the most for number 10? Lois McMaster-Bujold has been a big influence. Lately, I mentioned it in a book review not too long ago, and I can't think of her name now. Flight Behavior. Barbara Kingsolver. Her approach to description has really influenced how I handle description lately, because I'm not usually very good about the descriptive part. Those are the two come to mind immediately, but I've read so much from so many different authors, I couldn't even begin to tell you who all are my influences, because it's all of them. It's the sum total of all of them, to one extent or another. Do I schedule my writing sessions for number 11? I'm out of fingers, so I'm going to move to sign language. I do schedule my writing sessions, and I schedule them based on a Tumblr that does structured writing sprints where your goal is to write 1,000 words in an hour, or 1K 1 hour, 1K 1H, and they post a schedule every few days of when they're going to be doing those. So there's usually a 9 in the morning. That's one that I almost always do. On the weekends it's 11 instead of 9. Sometimes they'll do an 8 p.m. or a 10 p.m. if I'm actually feeling with it enough to write at that hour. And then sometimes I'll just write because I've got the time. For number 12, do you type on a computer, typewriter, write everything by hand, or use a blend? And where do you write in general? Computer, I go directly into the computer. It is rare that I will handwrite anything anymore unless I just have an idea that I have to get down, and I'll just scribble it into my bullet journal. But otherwise, it's getting typed right away. And where do I write? Either in my office or my living room at home, or Starbucks. Lots of Starbucks. If I'm having a hard time just getting myself into writing, I will just haul myself down to Starbucks. And what am I most looking forward to now that I'm part of Authortube? Just continuing to engage in the conversation that is happening on YouTube around writing. That's why I got into it, so that's what I'm looking forward to. Number 13. 13 or 13. Yeah. My ASL needs work. Anyway, that's it for the Authortube tag. Hope that was of some interest. If you did like this, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more from me, whether it's about writing, about books, about bullet journaling, or whatever other random stuff I end up coming up with, by all means, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.